everyone. So I decided to do my speech on is high school football worth the risk? A recent study conducted by Boston University revealed that 1 in 5 high school football players will suffer from CTE, a condition that diminishes brain capacity and is associated with higher risks of memory loss, behavioral issues, and depression. High school football is the center of attention when it comes to school spirit in most towns and cities. It's hard to imagine being in high school and not having a high school football team to rally around on those crisp fall Friday nights. Football attracts locals from all age groups, but at what cost? Is it worth it for the players in the end? If we all knew the risks that high school players were at for concussions, CTE, and depression, would we allow our children to play? A concussion is an injury to the brain that results in temporary loss of normal brain function. A human brain is cushioned by cerebrospinal fluid. The cushion of this fluid is meant to keep the brain away from the skull. This can cause many problems. Problems ranging from blood vessels tearing, bruising in the brain, and in severe cases it can cause the brain to swell. Knowing what to look for when someone has a blow to the head is so important. Here it shows a healthy brain on an MRI scan and then a brain that's been concussed on day 3. According to the University of Pittsburgh Brain Trauma Research Center, more than 300,000 sports-related concussions occur annually in the U.S., and the likelihood of suffering concussion while playing a contact sport is estimated to be as high as 19% per year of play. According to Prefaces.com, approximately 67,000 of those concussions are related to high school football alone. Studies have shown that players that have had more than one concussion have a higher risk of receiving a lower GPA. Players with multiple concussions can also suffer from attention span issues. This could be a senior football player who hasn't had a concussion in 2 years, but the long-term effects have caused him or her to suffer throughout their high school career educationally. CTE is a brain condition associated with repeated blows to the head. There was a study done testing the donor brains of football players of all ages. There was no CTE findings prior to high school, but the rates from high school on is astounding. 29% of the high school donor brains had CTE, 87% of college brains, 71% of semi-pro donor brains, and 99% of the NFL donor brains. That is an alarming statistic. Here it shows the brains and the different stages of the CTE from 1 to 4. The chance of these high school students playing professional ball may be slim, but 29% of high school donor brains is enough for me to question if I want to let my child play a game that he or she is at that type of risk. Lastly, I found a major problem with concussions and CTE related to playing football. The chance that concussions or CTE can cause mental health issues in players, but even worse, can exacerbate or accentuate a pre-existing condition. The last thing a parent wants is for their child to feel depressed, anxious, or feel like they don't fit in. Having a concussion can alter a player's brain, making them feel irritable, down about not getting back on the playing field, or even pressured. 70% of children and teens that have sustained a concussion will experience problems during their recovery emotionally. Being physically fit should always be a priority and portrayed to athletes in a positive way. Why not attempt to make another sport the highlight of Friday Night Lights? Highlighting and getting students involved with other sports that lower the risk of injury may be the start of lowering the concussion statistics in adolescents. It may take a long time to get everyone on the same page regarding the dangers of high school football. In between these attempts, there needs to be a better effort in the long-term effects of brain injuries. At least one player sustains a mild concussion in every American football game, according to Prefaces.com. I couldn't believe the statistics I read during my research of brain injuries and long-term effects of playing high school football. I think if players are more aware of the risks they are putting forth when playing, they might turn away. Or if there's a positive stigma towards another sport, they may turn to the alternative. According to Dr. Amalu, we should at least wait for our children to grow up, be provided with information and education on the risk of play, and let them make their own decisions. No adult, not a parent or a coach, should be allowed to make this potentially life-altering decision for a child. And here's just a normal brain and a brain with advanced CTE, and then here shows an MRI scan of a controlled normal brain, CTE and Alzheimer's disease. It shows how these two can relate to one another. Thank you.